Hello guys, so in this video we are going to see how to choose your blog niche. So let's start with the question, what is a niche? A niche is basically the topic that you will be blogging about. For example, it could be hobbies, or it could be health, it could be wealth, it could be technology. But these are like broader topics. You can also go down and blog about narrower topics, like say keto diet or strength training. So rather than writing about the entire health topics together, you could simply pick something like strength training and start a blog on that. And once that strength training blog becomes bigger, becomes authoritative, you can slowly start picking up other health topics as well and grow your blog to an overall health related blog. So that's usually the approach that most bloggers take, by starting from a narrow approach and then slowly expanding the reach. So the question next is that which kind of niche should you choose? Should you choose a narrow one or should you choose a broad one? So as we have seen, you shouldn't choose something that is way too narrow or something that is way too big. You have to basically pick an intermediate niche. Something like strength training or something like keto diet. So the problem with going too broad is that the competition will be tough, because when you are picking broad topics, you are essentially competing with big blogs that write on many different topics. And if you go way too narrow, then you might not be able to pick other topics and you might not be able to scale your blog if you have a really small focus. So basically choose an intermediate topic for your blog. So now let's take an example of the photography blog. Okay, say you are a photography enthusiast and you want to start a blog on photography. So initially you have decided that you are an expert about different photographic equipments. You know all about the different cameras out there. You know all about the photographic lens out there. And you decided to name your blog something like photographicequipmentsabc.com, where ABC can be anything. Say you are a photographic equipment expert or something like that, whatever you want. And you start writing your content on that. You start writing about many different photographic equipments, cameras, lenses, everything. And say after a particular period of time, once you have built an authority and once you have enough people, enough traffic visiting your website, now you will be thinking like, okay, now I have reached the maximum limit for whatever I have started about. Say I have written as much as possible about the photographic equipments. Now I want to write more about various different types of photography. Say I want to write more about how to do wildlife photography, how to do wedding photography. But when you are writing these kind of topics and your domain name is something like photographicequipmentsabc.com, then there will be a slight mismatch. And let's not stop here. After some time, your blog would have become an expert thing in different kinds of photography. And now you might be thinking like, okay, so now I have the photography expertise with me. Let's pick one or two related hobbies as well, and let's start writing topics on those related hobbies as well. So now you are like even going from the photography to the hobby niche, you are getting bigger. But since you are writing about different hobbies and at the same time the domain name is something like photographicequipmentsabc.com, then it doesn't make any kind of sense at all, right? So this is where you have to be careful. So you have to pick an intermediate niche. And even when you are choosing something like that, you have to make sure that whatever you are doing aligns with the future vision you have. So rather than actually simply choosing something like photographic equipments ABC, maybe you should have chosen something like photographyabc.com or something like hobbyabc.com. So if you had such domain names, you would have been able to align your vision accordingly. So this is something that you really should keep in mind. Anyways, to summarize this, the key point is that you should pick a domain or a niche that is intermediate, and it shouldn't be neither too narrow to begin with or it shouldn't be too big to begin with as well. And now let us take a look at 5 of the most important aspects that you must consider while you are choosing your niche. So the first point is passion. whatever niche you are choosing, you have to be passionate about that. Whether it be health categories or whether it be wealth categories, whatever it is that you are choosing, you must be passionate about that, because you have to continue writing about that particular topic for many years to come. And if you want to keep on writing about the same topic for several years, you obviously have to be passionate about it. Else you are going to get burnt out and you will stop writing at some point in time. So always make sure that whatever niche you choose, you are passionate about it. The second one, it's about experience. Having an experience in a particular niche could really help you out, because you have those insider secrets and you have those insider knowledge about a particular industry or about a particular niche. You will be able to give really powerful knowledge and tips to your audience, and it really helps out your audience. And whenever you provide a lot of value to your audience, you obviously will start getting more traffic, and more the people will start actually valuing what you offer. The more your blog will grow, and the more traffic you will get, and obviously the more monetization and the more profit you will be able to make. So if you have an experience in some niche, and if you are passionate about that particular niche, it's something that you should consider starting a blog. The third one, whatever topic you choose, it should be sustainable or it should be evergreen. So here the sustainability is not the green sustainability, it is about how long or how much that particular topic you have chosen can last. For example, 100 years before and 100 years from today, whatever topic you have chosen, must be in demand. Let's take, for example, health or wealth. It doesn't matter whether it's 1900s or it's 2100. Health topics, wealth topics, hobbies, technology, all these topics will always stay in trend. All these are relevant topics. These are sustainable topics, or we call them as evergreen niches. Okay, let's, for example, take the example of CD players or DVD players. They have kind of become extinct itself, we could say, because say if it was some 10-20 years back, a blog about CD players or DVD players would have had some value. But today, if we are looking at it, it's not in trend. So basically, these are not evergreen topics. So while you are choosing it, always choose something that's kind of evergreen, something that's sustainable, something like wealth topics like personal finance or investing. Something like that will always be in trend. So you have to pick such topics and you have to write down that. Other examples in other categories could include health related topics like dieting, something like cooking, something like very important hobbies, say like photography. These things are like sustainable topics. The fourth point, it's about competition. You should try to go to niches where the competition is comparatively less when you are starting out. Say, for example, let's say we are in the 2010 or 2015 range. Some 5-10 years before it was a case, and you're planning to start a blog that was about cryptocurrency, something about bitcoins or such currencies, when it was like 5-10 years back, the competition would have been really low and it was like a really emerging topic. And if you had started a blog about those at that time, you would be able to get crazy amount of traffic today, like 5-10 years later. So if you actually start a blog on a space where the competition is low, you will be able to get traffic faster, you will be able to rank faster, you will be, when your audience actually finds that, there aren't much people who are providing enough information or enough value in a particular niche, you should go in that niche and start providing value to the audience there. So when the competition is less, the chances of you succeeding is much higher. And finally, the most important of all, profit potential. Say you might be passionate about a niche, you might have some experience in it, and even that niche might seem sustainable or evergreen. But if there is no profit potential for that particular niche, then there is no meaning in starting a blog at all, right? So the most important thing is being able to monetize or being able to make profit from your blog. If you are not able to do that, then it doesn't make much sense at all, right? Say, for example, one of the things that I usually say is that let's take the example of a wildlife biologist. Now, you might be really an expert in, let's say, for example, you are specializing in one particular animal. Say, for example, let's say dolphins are on. So, you might be an expert in dolphins, you might know a lot about dolphins and you are the best in the industry. It's absolutely great, you are doing a great service. But actually, if you are looking at it from the profit potential of a blogging standpoint, how many people actually do you think read blogs about dolphins or actually read blogs about some particular animals? Maybe about the common household pets, if you're talking, that's a completely different thing. Like, that's one of the most potential topics you can take. But say if you're picking some wildlife animals or we are sticking to that, then the chances of us getting traffic for that particular topic is like really, really less, right? So that's something that we should keep in mind. So in that case, if you're a wildlife biologist, you could write about animals in general. You could write about pets. You could write about how pets may behave. So you could write about those topics that actually have profit potential. So it's something that you must keep in mind when you are starting a blog. It's really important that you choose topics that have the most profit potential. So to finalize how to choose the right niche, so you have to look at 5 things. The first one, you have to make sure that you are passionate about whatever you are going to write about. The second one, you must have experience in whatever you are writing about. Third one, the topic that you have chosen must be sustainable or that it must be evergreen. The fourth point, it's best if the competition is low for the topics that you are choosing. And the most important of all, even though you might be passionate, you might have experience, and the topic that you have chosen must be sustainable, the most important point is that the niche you have chosen must have the potential to generate profits. So with that, we have come to the end of this video. I hope I was able to provide some insights and takeaways through this video. Thank you.